Guys, it's Sarah with Grassroots Evolution Tarot, and thank you for stopping by today. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you are a subscriber, thank you guys for keep coming back. I love you from the bottom of my heart. So today I'm here to bring you a message for Pisces for January 2023. Keep in mind it's general. Take what you feel resonates for you. Disregard the rest. Go about your day. And know that no matter what messages come through, it's still up to you, your active free will, the choices you make, and the steps you take in this world to get whatever fulfillment it is you'd like to see. To me, that's personal freedom. It's personal power, and it's something that lies at the tips of your fingers, the soles of your feet, and it's something that no one else can do for you. So use your power to do wisely, my friends. So I'm also going to, before I get into the cards, just take a moment to call in spirit. I'm going to ask Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, my team of light, and any of your spirit guides that would be here for the highest good of the entire collective to join us. I'm going to ask them to guide, guard, bless, and protect myself, this reading, and any of you who would ask for it, as well as to use me as the clearest channel possible, delivering messages that are for the most far-reaching, but again, only for the highest good of all of us. Only top-shelf messages here today, my friends. So what I started out today, I'm going to start out with a spiritual advice from the Messages of Life Oracle. Now, just a little disclaimer, these guys use God a lot, and if that is something that kind of triggers you, put it as spirit, source, universe, the divine, however it is that you feel, it resonates, okay? So, again, if this feels like it's for you, it's up to you how you integrate it, and if it doesn't feel like it's for you, disregard it, my friends. Don't make it a self-fulfilling prophecy. So we have four cards that flipped over, and the bottom of the deck I want to show you says achievement. So I'm going to read to you the bottom of the deck, and then we'll get into these cards. I advance on the road of achievement in order to discover myself. In spite of difficulties, I achieve my objectives and embrace life. Faith is my strength. I believe in myself and my true potential. With the simplicity of a child and the wisdom of a wise old man, I move forward for my own sake. I live without fear because I will always be in good company on this journey towards the light. And I think this is really, really important for us to have faith in ourselves. Yes, have faith in the universe, the faith in divine, and everything's going to work out perfectly. But to have faith for us that we're able to accomplish our goals. What I'm hearing as well is with this, I heard this is not mission impossible. You will be able to do this, but this is also making goals that are attainable and achievable. So they're bringing weight loss to mind because this is something that I'm on this journey, right? But this is something that I think we could all understand. Let's say we got 30 pounds we want to lose. If we focus on that 30, that's a huge goal, and it's going to take us a really long time to get there. If we focus on that 30, 2 pounds at a time, those are attainable goals. Not only are you building momentum, but you're being proud of yourself every time you get down to this. So what I heard is as well, maybe we're quitting smoking, and maybe you're cutting down gradually. This may be instead of going cold turkey, hey, I'm going to let myself have 2 smokes a day. Okay, examples, and maybe that's not you. But if you get it down to this number, eventually you're going to wean it down to 1, and eventually you're going to be like, you know what, I don't need it anymore. I don't need this coping mechanism, or I don't need this for stress relief. I'm going to find a different way, because if you smoke a pack or half a pack a day and you're dwindling it down to 5 or 2 a day, you're finding other things to do, and you're learning how to cope with the cravings when it happens, okay? So they're showing me I reap what I sow, because all of the energy you put into accomplishing your goals, you're going to get there, okay? I am aware of all that I create around me. Sooner or later, all that I do and all that I think comes back to me in some way. Be it positive or negative, I will reap the fruits of what I've sown. Therefore, I abundantly fill my life with love and light. For all the seeds of light I sow, I will harvest the greatest richness. I was also hearing at this time, like, our temperament or attitude. Let's think about it this way. If we come at people on our day-to-day because they say we're trying to quit smoking, or we're eating less carbs, or we're, whatever it is we're doing, and we're grouchy as shit, we are reaping what we sow, because eventually, especially if we're around these people all the time, this energy is going to come back at us, and we may be like, whoa, what's crawled up your butt? But then going, oh yeah, I did, right? I was a kind of a little bit grouchy or a lot bit grouchy, and realizing this is one of these ways we can see this right away. Also, what I heard is karma as well. So for some of us, we may be going through, I want to say, consequences of actions. Okay? So you can call it karma, or you can just look at it as universal consequences, law and cause and effect, that if this happens, this will happen. Kind of like we know we can't go through life being a self-centered jerk, right? If we do that, what are the consequences? Well, probably we're not going to have a whole lot of people standing by our side when we really need them, because we've been kind of self-centered and jerkish, and when they needed us, we just weren't there. And this doesn't mean necessarily that we are a self-centered jerk. It could mean lots of things, that we've got a lot of stuff going on in our plate, and we just can't handle someone else's stuff right now, because in our own fragile state, it's too much. We can only deal with us. But this is also like, if we know that we're doing things that could harm people, we can't expect to live a beautiful life when we are trying to destroy other people, right? This is something, karma, right? Karma comes back, and we reap what we sow in this life. So if we're putting out love and light, and we're treating people how we would want to be treated, we know that, yeah, not every circumstance in our world is going to be perfect. But it means that the energy we've put out, the universe is going to match that, and we're not doing harm to other people. So we have unconditional love that's here too, and it says, I see the light in everyone. I see beyond the personality and feel compassion for all my brothers and sisters of the light. I do not judge anyone, but accept others as they are. I feel unconditional love for everyone without expecting anything in return. I discover what is divine in each being, and I join my soul with theirs so that we can grow together in universal love. And to me, this also says there's not conditions on this. We're not doing something because we want it. So what I'm hearing is from Silence of the Lambs, when Clarice, if for any of you guys who haven't seen it, but sorry, but it's just kind of like this quid pro quo, okay? And this is what I'm thinking of, quid pro quo. If I give you something, you give me. Well, that's not unconditional. And this is where unconditional help is what I'm hearing as well. Maybe we have neighbors or elderly loved ones, family members that could use your help, that they don't have a whole lot to offer you in return. There could be some of us that go, there's nothing in it for me, so no. This comes back as well. This is about giving of ourselves, but this is not about over-giving without boundaries. There's a difference between unconditional love, that I love you regardless of the conditions, but there is also a point where we can still unconditionally love someone and have to put a boundary up where this person is not in our life. And this is also unconditional love for ourselves. So what I also want you to think about is, in all this stuff, yes, I'm saying treat other people how you would want to be treated, but if there's people in your world who treat you like garbage, treat you like crap, there's no point here holding on to this and allowing them to destroy you, because this is going to come back around on you. So for some of us, I feel like we might not even know that we've given someone else that power to do it, or we just might not have been aware of it. It might be something we've grown up with, right? That this is just constant. And I think this is the month, or this is the time to say no more. Putting up my boundaries. I can have love. I'm working on myself here. I'm working on creating the life I'd like to have in my future. And we really need to think of, if I were to react and do this to you, how would you like this? And would you be my friend? Would you have me in your life? I feel like as well, for some of you, and this is not everyone, because we also have searching within here, and I connect with heaven. If there is people who maybe have cut you out of your life, or they've cut you out, right, of their life, or vice versa, this is a real point to say, okay, was there something I did that contributed to this? It doesn't mean that we need to get like overly self-critical, but it does mean that we need to take ownership for our actions and the way we've behaved, because nobody's perfect, and we've all had an off day. We've all had a day where maybe we just lashed out and treated someone in a way that we didn't really like. Here's what's the important part that maybe not all of us got growing up or in other relationships, was a sincere and genuine apology with actions going forward to create positive change in our worlds, and to rebuild relationships, and to literally mean what you say when you say, I'm sorry this happened. So searching within says, what I see and what I live is a mirror of my inner self. Not my outer, but my inner conditions are the source of my difficulties in life. With each of life's challenges, I search within to learn how I grow stronger. Through this self-searching, I will find the best answers and the greatest healing. I study myself and transform myself. We have this power to do, right? If we see that, I want to go with the words emotional regulation here, okay? For some of us, especially if you're a parent, right? Or when you experience highly emotional states or overwhelm, if you lose your cool really quickly, this may be something that we really need to work on our own emotional regulation. Now, coming back to inner child stuff, if we weren't taught or if our parents did not have the greatest emotional regulation, this may be a point where we fly off the handle quickly. Why? Well, that's all we know, and that's how we've been taught, and that's how people have reacted to us in the past. And this is also going, well, when I react like this, how do other people take it? How do I feel about myself after? So one thing I'm also hearing about this is like, if you know when you lose it, you yell, your throat probably hurts, you get a headache, and you feel like crap because it happened. Well, this is where, again, reaping what we sow and searching within and being in control of ourselves, it's really going to help us. And I think as well, they're talking about like addictions and addictive like personalities, or just things that we do as coping mechanisms, trying to help regulate or control these things. But if we were able to, in a safe space, feel out whatever energy is going on or whatever's happening to us and go, okay, how did that make me feel? And feel it out. This is where I think it's going to be really helpful for you as well. So for some of you, emotional regulation may be something you really need to work on. How do we do that, you ask? Well, some of us, it may be things like taking care of our mental state, making sure that we're reducing the stresses in our worlds, that we are actively choosing when we're starting to feel ourselves getting overwhelmed, remove yourself from the situation if you're able to. If you're a parent or something like this and these triggers are coming up, actively count to 5, take 5 deep breaths in, count to 5 while you're breathing them in, breathe out for 5, and really take the moment to calm yourself before you respond. Maybe you need to go to the bathroom before you need to deal with this, just so that we know that we're regulating ourselves, we're not reacting, we're it's reacting, but not in a reactive way, I guess is the best way to put it. We're putting our best foot forward there too. And I connect with heaven. Whenever my faith seems to be shaken by fear or doubt, I wisely turn to my inner self and connect with the heaven within. I now see all my resentments as ideal opportunities to work on my inner self. Those ordeals are necessary for my growth as I become aware of my dualities. Thus, I no longer seek to dramatize situations, but live each day in serenity. And this is a really good place to say, okay, maybe I overreacted today. Or, hey, my emotional regulation wasn't so good. Not super proud of ourselves. Do not beat the hell out of yourself for it. This is a place to see. We need to see it to change it. I've now seen it. Sometimes things, or like it said, situations arise. We have the 8 of arrows with struggle on the bottom. Sometimes these situations arise so that it can be made visible for us. So here it's in the reverse, and I think it's because we know it's time to get off the struggle bus. It is time to stop struggling mentally. It is time to stop these friggin' arrows from coming your way. So this again could be that you're breaking through a mental cycle, breaking through thoughts or understandings. I feel like this has been a long time, because again, it's cycles and it's going no fucking more. Some of you, I feel like, because she's still trudging on, she's cold as shit, she's got her own light, and she's still going. For some of you, this may be a place to say pause. Because for some of us, what I heard is, especially if we've been avoidant or things, because they're showing me this river, it's still moving. It's not thought over, even though it's all cold around here. There's still emotions that, for some of us, especially our reactions, could be triggering us. So they're talking to me about, like, yeah, maybe we flew off the handle and we don't understand exactly why. This is a place to go, okay, why did I fly off the handle? What emotion was I feeling before this happened? What was happening before I lost my cool, so to say? And how can I make positive changes in the future going forwards to not have this happen. As well as I think if we're looking at coping mechanisms, okay, they're telling me, like, think smoking. You know, if we go through a really stressful situation, sometimes the first thing you want to do is be like, I gotta have a smoke. I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna have a smoke and think about this. Well, this is where maybe imagine inhaling that smoke. Don't actually go smoke. Or just your breath work, because sometimes when we're smoking, it's our breathing that we're focusing on. I haven't smoked cigarettes in probably almost 8 years, but I loved smoking, and I will say that. I won't even try it now because I liked it so much. I know that I'm fearful I would start again, but it comes down to every day making those decisions for yourself, right? On how do I want to live my life? Because I know myself as well, smoking was sometimes just done out of boredom as well. A lot of times as well, it was a coping mechanism to deal with the stresses and this outside external stuff going around me, but sometimes it was just something to do. And this is where we need to find something else to take over that habit. So they're also telling you about keeping, you see he's holding on to both of those wands, keeping your hands busy, especially if it's smoking, right? Because your hands, they're part of this. It's a habitual thing that we do. So I think also this is going to be, though, again, like with this internal stuff, that you are doing this actively. Whatever you're trying to remove your situation, or whatever mental struggles are going on that you're like, you're doing this actively. And my friends, that's awesome. That's personal growth, and be very proud of yourself, okay? Each step of the way, allow pride for yourself. Because I know that if someone around you is doing what you're doing and trying to take care of yourself and heal themselves, you would be hella proud of them. So don't diminish your own accomplishments and achievements. And we have the Three of Stones here with creativity, but this is also working together. Knowing that this may not necessarily be something that you need to do all alone. First off, you got me, my friends. We are here and we're discussing this together. This is also talking with a trusted friend or individual and doing things that ground you. So like I was saying about removing the stresses from our world, for some of us this could be food triggers, is what I heard as well. I'll use my own examples because that's what I have, but I know that gluten, dairy, and processed foods really, really trigger my digestive system and make me feel yucky, which then makes me feel really tired. I can't get enough sleep, and I'm a little extra grouchy because I'm just so exhausted. And I have the power not to put those in my body. Same thing with exercise. I know that when I am getting enough exercise, my mental clarity is so much better, and my calm and my peace of mind is better, and my own resolve within myself, because things that take discipline, things that we have to do, because we might not always feel motivated, we may not always want to do these things, but when we know it's for our best interest and we're disciplined in our healing, there is a point at the end too that it's making us grounded. We know that this is going to make us feel better. Now for some of you, and I'm not, for some of you, this is maybe eating foods that ground you. So something that reminds you of a favorite childhood meal, something that brings you comfort, right? Something that is outside of whatever your coping mechanism or whatever it is that we're trying to move past here. As well as, for some of us as well, as what I heard is that we may experience feelings of isolation or loneliness. We may have feelings that are definitely contributing to whatever addiction we're trying to break, or emotional dysregulation. So this is also going, you know what, we want to care for that inner child within us. So make your favorite meal, parent yourself, mother, father yourself, and give yourself the love that you feel like that's what you need and you deserve. And the only person, you see this guy, he's standing on top of a mountain. There is grass up there and shit's blazing. But you're the king of your castle. You're the king of the hill. And you have a choice on how you're going to live your life. This also means, again, like we got a choice on what we're going to put in our bodies. So we have the Four of Arrows here, which I love this card, about rest. You have the Queen of Stones with the bear. You have the Green Man. and you have the Eight of Bows with Heartfire. Now, what I really like about this is where the struggle bus was in the reverse, this Heartfire, it's like, no. This is being around people who you feel bring out the best in you. Being around people who bring out your spirit and help your spirit soar and help you feel connected and supported. As well as, they're telling me about the rest. And again, this is not necessarily sleeping all the time, but it's doing things that make our soul feel rested. If all we do is work, are we feeling very balanced? Nope. This is finding stability. This also, to me, being that it's arrows, is resting our mind. Knowing that once we can figure out what patterns have led to whatever struggle we're going through, we're going to start to be able to rest. For some of us, this is anxiety as well. And I heard like this is replaying situations. For some of you, and this is not all of you, but this could be, I'm going to get into these cards too, but what I'm hearing is, and trigger warning guys, but complex. So many of us may suffer from like some sort of anxiety or PTSD. There is something called complex PTSD, especially if, you know, we've had a long time on the struggle bus, okay? A lot of different things that are going on. And if it's been something that is, what I heard is like really emotionally detached or taxing. One of the ways that flashbacks come back with the complex is feelings. It's not necessarily like a PTSD where we're seeing this image or we're reliving this event that's happening and we know what it is. Sometimes things are coming up and we have absolutely no idea. So I want to talk about emotional eating. Just a minute, guys. Okay, I'm back. My cat was pretty vocal there. But, okay, so when I was talking about emotional eating, we could not understand where this feeling is coming from. We're feeling a little empty, feeling like we maybe need a snack. This could also come down to, oh, I need a cigarette. I'd like to smoke a joint. I'd like to have a beer. You name it, okay? What's going on? We're having a feeling we don't understand, but it's something that's hella triggering and we're trying to cope. So, again, like I said, it's not for everyone, and this is in no way to diagnose, okay? This is just understanding that sometimes our feelings that we're going through, that we are trying to find a way to numb out or whatnot, they're attached to something much bigger that needs to come up for healing and needs to be revealed so that we can finally put an end to the cycle and finally find some peace and rest. So with this, I feel like it's very interesting between balancing out our masculine and our feminine with this bear, this mama bear. For some of you, mama bear's got you. For some of you, this is also potentially a mother figure watching as you grow and as you transform and finding your own power. Many of you, I think this is your own feminine energy though, going, you know what? She's got her claws out and she's standing guard. You are going to guard your cave. You are not going to let people in who want to put this friggin' fire out, right? You want people around this fire who are going to bring wood and bring sticks and say, hey, I brought some stuff so we can all stay warm. People who are team players. But if there's someone in here who's like, I got a cup of water, throw in that fire just because they feel like it, there is... kind of like what I heard is self-fulfilling prophecy. Because if we keep letting these people enter our worlds, but we're trying to get our fire going, and we know that they're just going to throw water on it, well, we know we're going to be pretty cold. Because we can't keep our fire going. No matter how much other people come and they bring us wood, if someone is going to continually keep bringing the water to put it out, you're struggling with this fire constantly. So what do we need to do? We need to tell the person that's bringing the stuff that douses our internal fire, say, you are no longer welcome in my circle. You are no longer welcome in my fire. And for some of you, this has been happening a really long time, where this person's wanted to break your spirit or put you down. And I think if that part is true, you know who it is. And this is just the point where, again, they're going to get their own karma, right? They're going to reap what they sow. Maybe it's not necessarily something you see right away, but it will happen. So remembering your power to use that inner strength within you and to make your own resolve. Emotional regulation, again, is what I heard, because what I heard is, and I know this is getting long, and I'm sorry, but I want the message to come out if any of you are still watching. And what I'm hearing is like reactive abuse, okay? And this is where emotional regulation is really strong and important, because if we have other people like this water bringer, okay, who wants to douse this flame, if someone is constantly doing this to us, this is going to stir up our emotions, because especially in winter, and if any of you have ever had to tend to fire and keep it going, it is so frustrating when this fire goes out, or when, it's smoldering and smoldering and smoldering, and that smoke can be really toxic, right? Much like whoever's throwing that water, it is toxic, because what would this do? Some people need to see other people suffer to feel worth in their own lives, or to feel happy. And that's not our responsibility to give it to them. So what I'm hearing about the reactive abuse is there may be people who push and 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 push. They're going to try and ask for all of your triggers. Especially if this person knows you well, they may go to one thing they know upsets you, and if they're getting gray rocked, they'll be like, okay, here. Okay, that didn't work. Here, until they finally find something where you're like, F you. And like, oh, aren't we snippy today? Right? It's like, yeah, but that person pushed you to a point where, of course, you're going to start feeling defensive. This is where, with our own emotional intelligence and our own emotional regulation, this is where we need to use our words pretty clearly and be like, there's no need for that. And, you went from here to here to here to here trying to upset me. What's your end goal? Call out the behavior. The person you're calling out might get a little more angry. They might get more upset. But does that give you less of a right to stand up and defend yourself? Absolutely not. Okay? So you have the Montezuma Cypress. This is the Wisdom of the Trees Oracle. And for a little bit of tree wisdom, let's see what the message from the trees is. This tree is about solidity. Solid in your character. I grow at the meeting point between the land and the water, and I teach you that you need to balance between the material and spiritual worlds to survive. I am solid and strong, and I can give you the same sense of solidarity, or solidity. I also think solidarity, while it being a slip, was not unneeded. You need to have solidarity within this heart fire, within this unit, family unit, friendship, where everybody is together in this. Because if there's one person who is not in solidarity with this group or with your healing, they're the water bringer and the flame douser. And if someone sees problem with your solidarity, really want to question why. So it says, are you feeling bogged down by worries or difficulties? Learn to focus your attention on whatever is most important to you or the situation. And don't dilute your power by concentrating on trivial matters. There's also something here, what I'm hearing is, if you're trying to kind of work through addiction or work through something, and you're trying to stay strong in your power, because this is definitely strong. And this is boundary setting. Because are you going to cross this bear? Are you going to go into its cave? You're going to go say, hey, little bear babies? Probably not. Because his mama bear is going to rip the shit out of you. And you know that, right? You would not go into the bear den, either unarmed or at all, unless you probably had a death wish, right? Like this is, we know these claws are here, and they're going to protect what is this mama bear's. So, just reminding on that. But this is boundary setting for your own strength. So again, you got people in there who try to rip you apart. Their karma is going to come. People will eventually see it. And I think that especially, there's a few of these. Especially if it happens, whatever you're going through, you know, another group of people or a person has gone through this, talk to them. Because I imagine you're going to find a lot of solidarity there as well. So we have sound healing could be really, really helpful. For some of you, this is get yourself a singing bowl, a drum, listen to your favorite music, play the flute, do whatever it is that's going to raise your vibrations. So for our emotional regulation too, if we know we're just feeling a whole lot of anxiety, we don't know where it's coming from, we've got a lot of things going on in our nervous system. Twofold, I heard, is check how much caffeine you've had today. Big deal. As well as other substances. So they're saying like energy drinks as well. Pay attention. Those can wreak havoc on our nervous system as well because we're getting jittery, right? But we have abundance planning, chanting, using our voice. This could also be while we're making this music, we're using our voice. Whether you're actually chanting mantras or not, whether you're chanting sacred sounds, this is helping to clear up the energy that is stuck and stagnant and has your vocal cords shut and has your throat chakra shut, because some way we need to open this up. And we want to think about, what are the good things in our world? What do we want to create more of? What do I want to help nourish and grow in this time going forward? And you also have make a vision board. Maybe if making a real vision board isn't something that you're into, like she's got, put pictures up everywhere, write maybe even affirmations on your mirror. Could be what I heard is little reminder notes on your cell phone, just something that you have that's going to remind you, these are my goals. Maybe they're not huge, because if you have too much to go on, it's not selling ourselves short, but it's just focusing on too much stuff all at once. Kind of like, I'm going to go back with weight loss, okay? If we think that all of a sudden we're going to cut everything out that's bad for us, we're going pretty restrictive, and we are not setting ourselves up for sustainable weight loss. We're not setting ourselves up for sustainable changes. This is more like maybe take out something you know right at the time and add more good stuff. So if you're having trouble with this all or nothing thinking, this is where we have to go. But our all or nothing thinking is stopping us from making progress. Maybe we need to make small changes going forward. What are these small changes you want to make, my friends? So that's the message I have. I hope it helped. I hope it resonated. I love you all. If you feel like it resonated, please subscribe, join the journey. I'd love to have you along this journey again, or if you want to let me know how, leave a comment below. I love hearing from you guys. I love you all, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.